Before you get yourself a camera, one of the first things you need to ask yourself is, why am I getting this camera? Say, for example, you are hoping to put up your stuff on Instagram or Facebook, social media generally, or YouTube. Then there is no point in you buying a 6K, 8K, 10K, 12K camera. Why? Most of the sites you're going to put this stuff on, they are hosting sites. And they are going to have to compress whatever content you put up there just a little bit. Why? Everybody's putting their videos in there. So they can't afford to leave it at the level at which you shot it. So you will lose some form of quality, even though you can't see it. However, if you are shooting for media houses, cinema houses, if you are shooting short films or feature films, then you may need to find out what the global standard is for what you want to shoot. Take, for example, Netflix approves of the Sony FX3. So your video may be nice, but they don't like the camera you shot it on. So it's good for you to find out what spec of camera they would want. So it's not just about you now, but who you are shooting for. 2, sound. Sound is the strength of video. I mean, have you ever tried watching a horror movie and then you mute the sound and you're watching the movie? It has zero effect. You're not going to feel it. Why? Because the sound is the strength of the visuals. So you might want to check, does the camera you want to buy, does it have good sound? Most times I will advise you get yourself a lavalier mic or another kind of mic that you can use on your camera at the same time so your audio is clean. Remember what I said, if your audio is whack, people are just going to turn their backs and what you've done is a whack back. Now, thirdly, the next thing you need to think about is lighting. Lighting is almost as important as sound. The camera you're buying, does it do well with or without light? Does it do well in low light? Does it do well in all circumstances? Because if the camera isn't doing well with light, that means you need to get a ton of light. If you're running gun, if you're shooting during the day and you never shoot in the night, then you don't really need to think about lighting. Except, of course, you're shooting indoors, and that's a different ball game entirely. So lighting is important. Another thing you need to take into consideration is battery life. The camera you're buying, for how long does the battery want to shoot for? If you intend shooting, for like an hour or 2 hours, can the battery handle it? Truth be told is, those of us who shoot content, a 1-minute content usually will take you hours of time to shoot. So it's good to have a battery that can last you that amount of time. And finally, I think most importantly, is cost. How expensive is the camera? If it's costing an arm and a leg, then you probably need to be wise about the price. Other than that, I think you should be fine. Take these things into consideration and you get yourself a good camera.